My sentiment, guys, is that it's coming down to some very interesting levels, potential bottom contenders coming up. All right, so just to give you an idea, right, we had this beautiful wave 1, 2 in black, 3, 4 in black, and then a 5th wave coming up, right, finishing off all of a bullish sequence, right, with a wave 1 intact. All right, so now we're trying to finish off where this wave 2 would be, right, whether it's right now within my green box zone or if we have some lower into the future, and I'll talk about that later. But let's see if sort of these areas can be a contender for a specific wave 2 bottom before we go up, right, before we have a potential for a wave 3 towards the upside. All right, so just to make sure you guys are aligned, in uptrends, all right, there's 5 specific waves, right? We have wave 1 going up, 2 coming down, 3 going up, 4 coming down, and 5th wave going up before sort of a larger correction that occurs, okay? So right now we're trying to see whether or not AMD is about to bottom for a 2, right? So we can go up for a 3, okay? And that's sort of where we're deciphering here. Now, if I dive a little bit deeper, guys, okay? If I dive a little bit deeper, this is potentially a bottom contender, anywhere between 109 price down to 83, guys. If price enters within this zone, anywhere could bounce, okay? And we're starting to see it a little bit. We sort of entered this here at 109, and it's starting to bounce pretty well, okay? I'm starting to see bullish divergence across the daily time frame. You can see that we're making higher highs, right, on the indicators, right, but lower lows on price, which means that, guess what? There's seller exhaustion, guys. There's seller exhaustion. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that sellers are getting tired, all right, and the bulls are starting to bring some momentum to the table for a chance at this being a bottom, okay? We're still not out of the woods yet, though, guys, all right? If I take the inverse fibs, okay, AMD needs to break above 141 to 134 here, right? This is a pretty big algorithm, right? A natural price occurrence here. That's going to be a natural resistance. You can take a look, right? We have resistance here, a lot of price action volume, resistance there, and resistance there. It's going to be extremely hard for AMD to sort of break through that on the first try, guys, right? And ultimately, we also have this sort of coiling factor, right? This wedge formation. It's starting to look like a wedge, which is a good sign that this is coming to a bottom soon, guys. Right? We have a wedge formation bottom. We have an algorithmic bottom formation or bottom level here in my green box. We have bullish divergence forming. So when I gather all the evidence, if I'm a lawyer, this is sort of a case that I can make to prosecute the defense, right? I mean, this is pretty good evidence that it's starting to become a bottom soon. Whether it's right now, we have one more to go, I'm not too sure. But either this is the bottom, we're going to come up, we're going to retest, right? And then try to get to that zone. Or if we have one more coiling last bit before, we try to break through. Okay, so just letting you guys know my sentiment. I think a bottom is very near, right? You don't have to catch the bottom as well, guys, right? You can always just wait for this to come up, get back on a dip, and then you can go for it, right? It's a little bit safer. But if you're a long-term investor in it, I think it makes sense to start accumulating at these levels. Okay, and what you really want to see for AMD, right, is you want to sort of start seeing us test this level with higher lows, battering the RAM, and then ultimately getting through, right? And then ultimately like this. So you want to see a inverse head and shoulders, right? Beautiful inverse head and shoulder pattern. If this can happen, I mean, that's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing on AMD, and you can see all-time highs into the future, okay? So we're almost there. Let's see what happens, right? There is another scenario though that we could go down to 54, but I wouldn't worry about that too much, right? Let's wait into the future, right? For now, let's see if these areas, the 109 to 83, could be the bottom here. Okay, so I'll talk to you guys.